There's some real hopeful things about this welding bead. See, this is great. I'm happy with that. And there it really keyholed good. That's the hole I burned at 6 o'clock. That's not good. It's really hot. This is great. I like that. That looks a little cold. And then good penetration. So I'm happy. I'm going to do it again, but I need to prep some pipe. So here's yet a different camera angle. I'm going to be doing this a lot, and I want to make sure that there's light because I don't have the best lighting in my garage. So yeah, I've got some more tubes ready. I'm just going to call them pipes because I'm telling myself that I'm pipe welding, but it's like it's in miniature. So here's 2 pipes that I'm going to grab and see if I can get a good fit up. Yes, it's possible to get good fit up. So I'm going to clamp this down here. Good, good. Now I'm going to tack. When I have a new pipe, I start with a new electrode. They got a real hot tack in there. Real hot. Nothing worse than a cold tack. And it opened up with just a little bit of a gap. So hopefully when I tack here, it'll close the gap. Seems like I might have got a good angle. Obviously, I'm making sure to tack opposite. So that's 10 and 4. 10 and 4. So that was threatening to burn a hole. It didn't burn a hole, but it was threatening. So that failed the tack, so I'm going to try to tack here. And I guess I'm going to push on it while I do that. There I got a nice hot tack and it did not burn a hole. So that's good. Now I got a pretty good gap, pretty good fit up. This right here where it threatened to burn a hole has some slag on it, so I'll get to that later because like I say, I'm pretty much refusing to weld over slag. So right now I think I can maybe go from like 10 to 4. Well, I'm not going to get greedy. I'm just going to go 10 to 12. Let me adjust the camera angle a little bit. That's how it is with these electrodes. Not the easiest restarts. You know, how's my ground? Oh, should be good. I'm going to try to do 10 to 1. So that went really great, but in my experience, I'm heating up this pipe. So at this point, I'm inclined to let the pipe cool. So I'm going to turn off the camera and just let the pipe cool. I might chip off the slag. So here's what I have so far. It's pretty ugly. That might have been the 10 o'clock and then coming around. That went well for me. And then obviously I haven't welded that yet. I'm letting the pipe cool. This is where it threatened to burn a hole. And I thought I'd gotten off all the slag, but it looks like there might still be some on there. And I was thinking about dipping this in the quenching bucket, so I guess I'll do that, but I don't want to electrocute myself. So now we got some water there. Well, I'm insulated, so we'll see what happens. So this was at, 10 o'clock. The tack was at 10 o'clock. So I'll put that back how it was. The tack was at 10 o'clock. Okay, well, obviously I'm going to have to edit this out. Now I'm ready to continue welding on this. I had the area there that threatened to burn a hole. So I'm just going to practice the pipe welding. And I'm treating myself to a new electrode. Here I'm going to go from 2 o'clock somewhere down. I'll probably try to go 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock. But if I can't do it, I'm just going to stop. But I'm going to try. Yeah, that was pretty hot. That was a pretty hot weld. So now what I'm going to do is capitalize on that success and go to the other side. I could try to hold the camera. I'm sure that's not going to work. I don't think that's going to make the welding any easier. Whoa! It started to burn a hole when I started to get greedy. So now I have a big hole in it. So that's not fun. So I'm all good from 9 all the way down to 5:30. And then I got a terrible issues at the bottom, including a hole that I guess I can try to fix. So right now I'm going to tend to the business at 6 o'clock. And there's already a bit of a hole there, so I think this is going to go really badly. I was doing a weave and it worked really nicely. There's one area it looks like I failed to get, so I'll tack it right there. Yeah, it burned it on in there. So now I'll move the camera, because what I have is I have the 6 to 9 has not been done. So I'm going to move the camera over there. I hope I edit that out. See if the camera's going to get in my way. I don't need the camera to get in my way. Okay, so the camera's on, and I'm planning on welding 6 to 9. And this looks like I might want to tack it left-handed. I'm probably not capable of that, but I think I'll try. So yeah, this is going to be left-handed with an electrode that's going to have a hard time restarting with the camera kind of in my way. So, yep, that's what we're going to do. It's going to be left-handed. This is going to be very tough. What I have is I have a big old hole at 8:30. I'm not even going to mess with that. I'm just going to come in from 6 o'clock, coming up to 8 o'clock. And that hole, I don't know what I'm going to do about that yet. Now if I sit, I'll be in a much better position to succeed. Now I can see I can do it right-handed. So this is great now. Now I'm really in a good position. Oh yeah. Yep. Okay. This is good. That seemed to have gone pretty nicely. Last time I did that, I burned a hole at 6 o'clock. Right now, I think I got it. I'm going to lay some more metal there down at 6 o'clock, and I'm going to try to build up the sidewalls of this hole here. Now note that I am welding over slag, which I think is a terrible idea. And also, it's going to be really hard to restart this electrode, so that's a lot of mayhem. I'm not going to go for that much mayhem. What I'm going to do is I'm going to chip off the slag, see what I'm dealing with. My plan is to build up that hole. And I messed with my electrodes, so I'll be able to restart it. So now what my plan is to attend to that hole that I blew. I've never had very much success repairing holes with stick. All right. That was successful, but now it's hot. Now I'm going to try to lace the material there. I'm trying to close that hole. And I'm not digging the slag at all. I wonder if I'll edit that out. Well, that's still better than welding on slag. This hole was at just about 6 o'clock. No cheating. If you're working at 6 o'clock, you're working at 6 o'clock. And that's where it is. The hole's at 6 o'clock. So that's a good time. Yeah, that made the hole bigger. That didn't go very well. So I just have a little missed spot here, not at 3 o'clock, which I'll get. My effort to fill the hole failed. If there's not a hole there, I can really lay in a lot of heat. But once there's a hole, it seems like there's going to stay a hole. This looks like some action right here at 9 o'clock I can get, maybe left-handed. That didn't go as planned. Oh my goodness. Just a little spot here. This one here probably stopped being fun, to be honest. All right. Let's get right into some other. That one wasn't my most successful. That's a hole, and there's another hole. There's some action there I think I can get. And I guess I could try to fix that hole. Now I am going to cheat. I'm going to bring that hole up to 12 o'clock and see about what it involves fixing a hole with a stick. This is what we got. Ugly. It's like a welding experiment gone wrong. There's some glimmers of hope there. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to put that part there up at 12 o'clock and try to pretty it up. And I know this is cheating putting this at 12 o'clock, but I'm a cheater. So here's an old electrode, which looks like it's not going to be fun to restart. I'll adjust the camera. I'm fixing the hole at 11:30. There's also a little hole here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have another pass coming up this way. And I'm going to start out by trying to fix that hole. That went really well. I'm used to TIG welding, so a little volcano action there. Little stick electrode swirly. Okay, here's the other pass. Yep, that went nicely, I guess. So there's the hole I fixed. And there's the so-called second pass. What I'm going to do is just make sure this hole is properly welded, repaired. Yep, putting it right at 12 o'clock. A little bit more attention for that hole. And then I think I'll grind it down and see how it looks. That's not how I planned that to go. So I'm going to grind down this weld and see what it looks like when it's all ground down. So here's that bead after I ground it down on the bench grinder. There are some low points, and I could do a bend test, but I think all I'd do would be to beat up my vise. I am going to assume that this would do well on a bend test. So I like how that turned out. Gosh, it was a rough road getting there, but you know, seems to have filled the seam. So I'm going to practice some more now. Let's see here. Oh, that's hot. Here's two pipes that can go together like this. I can get a seam. I could get a decent fit up, is what I'm trying to say. I'm going to treat myself. Treat myself to a respirator. Treat myself to a new electrode here. Still 1/16 7014. 049 crew tubing, which I believe is muffler tubing. Now the camera's really in my way, but I don't know what to say about that. Also, I note that the pipe is not clamped to the bench, so I don't need that additional challenge. And I'm asking myself, is there a better way of tacking? Here's a camera adjustment. I think the camera's going to be in my way, it's something awful. I should move the camera. Now I'm wondering why it's not starting. The welder's turned on. My ground is there. I wasn't able to start it. That was a, whoa, gosh darn it. Well, that tack is going to break. I didn't have it held rigidly when I tacked, so that wasn't good. What I'm going to do when I go to the other side of tacks, I'm going to pull it and the tack's going to break. So I need a pipe vise. Well, this went terribly wrong. Gonna have to start over. I get a chance to see how strong that tack was, so I'm starting over. I can see that certainly penetrated all the way through. Just trying to get a good fit up. That's all I'm after. Maybe holding it with one hand and welding it one-handed isn't the most rigid fit up. So that seemed nice. It opened up a gap on the other side, but not something terrible. I can't wait till I get a pipe vise. Oh no, the gap on the bottom here is terrible. So now I'm going to be working with a terrible gap again. So instead of pulling it together, it started to burn a hole. So, oh gosh darn it. And my effort to clamp it down isn't so good either. So I got some issues here. Here I can weld from 12 down to 9. I see that developing hole, which clearly occurred because the gap. So now I'm welding from like 12 to 10. Okay, so that was too much heat, started to burn a hole. So see, at this point, this pipe is too hot to weld on because I'm burning holes right and left. So we're just going to give that one a break, come back to that one. I got another pipe. I've got these two. So here's a nice fit up. The strategy I was using to tack that did not work very well. So I'm going to go back to my little angle aluminum to hold it straight. And what I'm after now is a good tack and certainly a good fit up. So let me see what I got here. Here's what I'm doing to get my good fit up. I go like this, I go like that. That is good. Good, good. I think I can work with that. There's like a gap at the bottom. Nope, don't like that. Okay, that'll work right there. So, I'm going to start off the new electrode. See how this goes. There, I didn't overdo it, because I found when I overdo it, it opens up a gap on the other side. So that was at 930, so now I'm going to go 180 degrees apart from that. And there's a bit of a gap. I will hold the camera while I weld it. There's a bit of a gap there, so I'm going to try to get a tack like at 4 o'clock. I'm going to be sitting in a chair. So I'm holding the camera with my left hand and going to do a tack with the right hand and try to hold the camera still. This gap here is not good. Oh look, if I push like that, okay, now I'm not going to hold the camera. Now I'm going to put the camera here. Because I can push like this, and I'll get a nice fit up. So I didn't overdo it. This tubing is so thin that just a little tack like that will get me penetration. So now the plan is to get a tack here, tacks 90 degrees apart, clean those up. Yeah, I really burned that in there. And yet it still seems to me to be a little on the cold side. I'm pointing to it. And yeah, I was really putting some heat in there. I have one more tack to make down here at about 7 o'clock position. There I couldn't really see what I was doing. Looks like one of the best tacks I've ever made. So at this point I have areas I can weld, okay, arc welding anyway. I have areas I can weld without messing around with slag. So I'll do that here, coming over the top. I'm not going to come over the top. I'm just going to go 12 o'clock down to the 10 o'clock. Now, I've never tried to go up. I guess I'll try it now. I'll try to go up. And again, this is 7014 electrode. Okay, that went real nicely. but I put so much heat into this pipe that I don't want to weld on it anymore. So I'm going to switch in another pipe because I think this pipe needs a chance to cool. And I had that issue with another pipe which is now cooled. I'm going to put it on there in an arbitrary position. See what kind of issues this guy has. Looks like there's lots of action to be had on this guy. So I'll get right into it. Give that other pipe a chance to cool. Alright, my shop's getting messy. Alright, so what I'm doing now is I was trying to go up, which worked nicely. Again, 7014 electrode. 1/16 electrode, 049 crew tubing, as I recall. My settings are 31 amps AC, and the dig is set to 30. Not sure about that. Let me check what I'm saying. Yep, that is true. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go from 9 o'clock as high as I can go, but I'm not going to get greedy. I might weld from 9 to 12. Yeah, the restarts on this are like 70/18 because of flux. You're having a real hard time with restarts. It's not making it any easier. Man, I ran that real hot. I'm surprised I didn't burn a hole there. So that went real nicely. Not the tightest arc, but certainly a lot of heat going in there. So now I'm going to come over here, but the camera angle's not advantageous. Okay, so here I have a gap opening up. I would imagine it's going to burn a hole. So I'm going to try a weave here to try to close that gap, get some material on there so it doesn't burn a hole. It started to burn a hole. Apparently if there's a gap, it burns a hole. So that's no good. So bad fit up doesn't make for a good time. What I'm doing now is 12 o'clock down to the gap area. That went real nicely, but now I feel like this pipe needs a chance to cool. So hopefully this other pipe over here has cooled off a little bit. And I'm going to try not to look when I clip it in there, for better or worse, where I clip it. Give myself maybe a good, easy task or maybe a hard task. I didn't do that on purpose, but it looks like I got a real easy task here. So I still don't know if I'm supposed to run the 70/14 vertical up or vertical down. So I'm going to just try both and see what works better. Seems that both of them have worked pretty well. The first one I tried, it says this is going to be really hard to restart this. I don't think this electrode is going to be able to restart. Like I was saying though, the vertical up and the vertical down have both yielded successful beads. Man, that was so much heat, I cannot believe that it didn't burn a hole. Okay, so we're going to keep this going. Go from 9 o'clock to 6 o'clock. Going to go vertical up. This electrode looks like it's going to be a tough one to restart. Man, I cannot believe that didn't burn a hole. That was perfect. Boy, I wish I could just do that every time. Now on the other side we have a gap. So the other side there's already a hole opening up. That's probably why this side went so well, because the fit up was like right there. So I'm going to move the camera over here. Try not to drop the camera. I got a gap there. Okay, what I'm going to do at this point is give a little wire brush love. There's all kinds of action there to be had, all the way from 6 all the way up to 3. This side over here is done and it looks good. So let me see how hot this is. It's really hot. I'm going to give it a chance to cool. And next time I put this up there, I'm going to do from 6 to 3. Here's my other pipe I was welding on. It's got a huge mess. Look at that gap and holes. I'm going to put that right at the 12 o'clock position. And I'm actually going to maybe even bend it up. You're like giving myself an advantage here. Nah, that's not going to bend. I just got a mess to weld on is what I got there. It's a mess. So at this point I'm just practicing filling holes. The camera angle seems to be okay. This gap here is just something awful. This is just terrible. Fit up, just terrible. Hole. What a freaking disaster. So I don't think this is going to go well. Maybe what I'll do is just come down one side. It's going to be a couple of passes here. This is a bad situation to start with. There's no hope of filling that gap. You know, maybe I could grab a bigger rod just for fun. I'm going to grab a 60-10 rod, which is 3/32. This is a 3/32 rod. So I'll change the settings a little. I can put it on 40 amps DCEP, set the dig to 55. And so reverse polarity, the amperage, I'm going to try it at 50. Let's see the lowest I can run it. 60-10, the lowest I can run it is 40 amps. 40 amps. Set the dig to 50. All right. See if 60-10 helps me out with this terrible gap situation. Probably just going to burn a big old hole. So we'll see how that goes. Again, this is a 3/32 rod on 049 tubing. So 60-10, I think that's just going to probably burn a big old hole in there. Okay, it bridged one part, and then it started burning a hole there. So I'm inclined to reduce the amperage, turn off the dig. Now the amperage go way down. You know, at this point, I'm thinking, you know, should I break out a 7018 rod, or, you know, with this bad fit up like this, I just don't know how this is going to become a successful. You know, if this 6010 doesn't come through here really fast, I am going to grab a 7018. Because I think at this point I might need a larger rod. Okay. Yep, 6010 is my friend. When I turned the amperage down, it was very manageable and very easy to keep an arc. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to fill these holes. So this would be a cold weld. I'm off in the weeds here, so I'm gonna call it, because my original intention here was to use the 1/16 7014 rod for the 049 pipe, and now I've got big holes. I've got 6010. I've got the 6010 amperage turned down to 30, and you're never supposed to turn it down below 40. So let me grab a 7018 rod and try to fix that hole. So what I'm going to do here is, my plan is to fix the holes. It's getting better, but there are some significant holes. And let me see, I don't know why, oh, I know why I want the 7018, because it's fast fill. All my 7018 is closed and sealed, so I'm not going to open any of those. There's 1/16 7014. Oh, that's what I'm using now. Anyway, I guess what I'll try to do is try to fix it with the 7014. So put it back on AC, put the dig to 30, amperage at 30, which is going to be the minimum here. And again, the 7014, the minimum amperage is 35. So I'll go 31, 32. Since this tubing is so thin, I'm trying to fix this hole. I'll try to fix this big hole using the 1/16 7014. And we'll see how that goes. Wow, that's a big hole. All right, Ray, you take care of yourself. We'll see you later. Yeah. All right, that made some improvement. Getting there, getting there. All right, we'll see what that looks like when it's ground down. That wasn't so bad. Fixing the hole. There's a hole on top. I could rotate it toward the camera so that you can see all the action. And this tube's getting hot. And what do we do with the hot pipe? We give it a chance to cool. So if I can't wrap this up here in a few seconds, this pipe is going to get a chance to cool. So I'm going to prep my electrodes so it'll be ready to restart. So it'll restart for me. See a little bit of metal showing there. And I have a pretty good feeling about fixing the hole. Just do a little swirly around the hole. How I fixed the hole last time was I went like this, like a little swirly going around, making like a volcano going up. So I'll try that again. I did that real hot, and it almost opened up again. So that was good penetration. So what I have now is I have this weld here, 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, which I can do. Give it a little bit of cleaning here. Yeah, now the whole repair has become easy. My electrode has slag on it, which is easily removed by rubbing it on some metal. So now I'm going to stand. I'm going to stand, and we got the, what this is it's 1:30 to 3 o'clock. Yeah, if it has good fit up, I can put it in there real hot. So what I'm going to do now is have a look at this. It's ugly, but there's reason for me to have hope. Looking at some of those beads are good, like that one is good. And this still has the slag on it. So this one's ready to be ground down and inspected. And we have another pipe here which we set aside to cool. It has some action there, which looks like good fit up. And it has a lot of areas that are done, some area that still has the slag on it. So this area here that isn't done yet, I'm going to put down at the 6 o'clock position, just to make it difficult. That's probably where it was anyway. Actually, I remember it was 3 to 6, as I recall. It was 3 to 6. So that's where I'll put it. Try to get that all in one shot. See if I want to. Here's an electrode that I already used. I'll get a good restart if I just expose some metal. The camera angle looks okay. Okay. I could sit in the chair. Let's see here. I don't think sitting in the chair is a good idea. Okay. I'm going to try to weld this 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at 6 o'clock and go vertical up to 3 o'clock. That went real nicely. I could put a lot of heat into it. I'm sure that has great penetration. And at some point, my weldment was moving there. So this joint might be done. There's some action there that hasn't been welded yet. I'll definitely put that at 6 o'clock. So I'm going to weld this. I'm going to clean it and then put it at 6 o'clock. Let me see where this is. Here's an electrode that I was already using, so I'm not going to get the best restart. Yep, I'll be able to restart that very easily. Very, very easily. Okay, so the action is right at 6 o'clock. Easy money. Nope, not easy money. I see about sitting in the chair. Yeah, sitting in the chair will work. Okay, so other times I've burned a hole at 6 o'clock. I didn't burn a hole that time. I missed the part there, so let me tack that where I missed it. I put a lot of heat in there. Let's see what's going on over here. This needs to be welded. Yeah, I put a lot of heat into that, and it like almost keyholed. So I'm going to clean these two joints up, and we'll take a look at them.